Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm taking a look at a product called the Bionic Floodlight. It's a solar powered, motion activated, as seen on TV light. It's kind of a follow-up to the Bionic Spotlight I reviewed a couple years ago. I've got a lot of requests for this one, so let's see how it works in today's video. Let's first take a look back at the unboxing and see how that went. All right, let's take a look at the Bionic Floodlight. This has got a decent 4.2 star rate on Amazon. It's also on Amazon's choice. Look at the packaging here. They say it's got 108 cob LEDs. No batteries, no wires, wide angle, motion activated, wireless remote control. We got some instructions, which I will look over. Look at the unit itself. All right, looks like it's mainly just one big piece here. So this is the solar panel. Here are the lights that kind of rotate, and here is the motion sensor. So not too bad, really. It looks pretty good sized. A stake, which is kind of cheap looking, and the remote control, which is pretty much welded in there. So let me get it out of here. And some mounting screws. All right, so I think we're set. Now I should say that they say it's solar powered, no wiring needed, motion activated. They say it's multi-directional with adjustable panels, also weatherproof. The main complaint I've seen is that some people say that the remote didn't work for some people, but otherwise people say it works pretty well. So we'll have to go read these over and then get started. You can either mount it on a wall or you can mount it in the ground with a stake. I wanted to try both. First up was the stake option in the backyard, and here's how that went. All right, there it is. I was all excited about my first day of filming. As it turns out, it's overcast today. I'm not sure how much juice we're gonna get. I'll still try to test it out tonight. I did kind of aim it at the sun when it was coming up today, so I still have to find the optimal placement for it, so it might take me a day or two to get that right. But we'll see if I got enough juice to test out some things tonight. But the sky did not cooperate today. It is dark out here. Do not adjust your monitor. All right, I'm walking toward the Bionic Floodlight. I'm about 20 feet away. I'm right in front of it. There he goes. Okay, came on. I'm about 15, 20 feet away. I'm noticing this, it's not particularly bright. Now it is near the ground, so maybe that has something to do with it, but let me get behind it and show you what I'm seeing here. It's not exactly filling the yard with light. I mean, I can barely see Bailey over there. Can you see Bailey? Bailey, come here. See if you can see Bailey walk up here. There she comes. It's not particularly bright. Maybe if it was higher off the ground, it would be a little bit brighter, but down there, it's not. I'm not too impressed. Bailey, what are you doing? Now she's sniffing it. Let's see what this does. Well, you know what off does. Off goes off, okay. Sensor mode goes back on. How about this one right here? This bottom one? That's like the nuke option. I'm not even sure what that does. Let's see. Oh, strobe. Bailey, strobe light. Let's move this to another location, Bailey. What do you think? Might be better. I think she agrees. All right, we kind of got a lucky bonus. It just started raining out here. We'll have to see how well it holds up in the rain. Hopefully it's working tomorrow. So my first night went pretty well. I even got some rain, which is a nice test for that. It didn't seem particularly bright in my very dark backyard, so I moved out to my front yard where it's not quite as dark, but it seemed well suited for that area. Now my 2-year-old Bionic Spotlight is already out there. It's still there, it still works. So not only was I able to test it out in the front yard, but I could also compare it to the Bionic Spotlight, and here's how that went. All right, it's been getting some pretty good sun today. I'm gonna move it out front though, and tonight I'm gonna test it out on the driveway to see how it works out there. Bailey's gonna help me make sure it looks okay. How's it look, Bailey? Oh, Bailey's checking it out. Is it good? Okay, it's good. So I'm gonna take this off here. This is the part that mounts onto the eave. I will do that, and then we'll try it out tonight in the driveway. This is the mount for the Bionic Spotlight. See, the Bionic Floodlight looks very similar. Maybe the same, but I'm gonna put it over a little bit further away so they're not competing too much with each other. So I'm gonna put it over here. Bionic Spotlight, Bionic Floodlight. Now you're not really supposed to operate them both at the same time, so I'll turn one off while I use the other. By the way, the Bionic Spotlight's looking a little bit ragged, but it still works. There's a coating on the solar panel that is peeling away. But it still works, so I'm not gonna throw it away just yet. All right, there we go. That's the Bionic siblings, the Bionic Floodlight, next to its older sibling, the Bionic Spotlight. Tonight, we'll test them out. And let's see if it kicks on from the... Oh, I got both of them in here right now. Oh, that's how they both look. They both came out at the same time, the Bionic Spotlight and the Bionic Floodlight. Let me turn off the Bionic Spotlight for now so we can focus on the star of the show. All right, so I'm standing out here 30 feet away, almost in the street. I'm gonna wait for it to go off and move around and see if it actually picks me up or not. It seems a little bit brighter out here than it did in my backyard. It seems like it's much more suited for a driveway than the backyard. But it just went off. I'm gonna move back and forth, see if it picks me up at 30 feet. Ah, it picked me up. As you can see, there it is. So it has a good range to it. To me, it seems pretty bright. It's kind of blasting me right in the face here. And you can adjust these too, individually, which is kind of nice. You can adjust that. I kind of like that. You can adjust it left and right and up or down. All right, when dogs are barking. All right, so when it goes off this time, I'm gonna walk that way and see what kind of angle we get as far as its field of view goes for the motion detection. All right, went off. Here we go. Ah, well, that's a pretty good angle. That's about a 30-degree angle. I think the Bionic Spotlight was actually a lot less than that, so that's a pretty good. I barely moved at all, and it came on, so the motion detection is pretty good. Let's compare the brightness of this now to the Bionic Spotlight. All right, let's do a quick side-by-side comparison. I've got the camera on manual settings. This is the Bionic Floodlight. What I'm gonna do is go over there, and I'm gonna turn on the Bionic Spotlight and see how the difference looks. All right, keeping in mind, this Bionic Spotlight is considerably older and it doesn't have as many LED lights. But just for comparison's sake, how do they look? I think that the Bionic Floodlight is certainly much brighter. But the fact that this is still working after all these years is kind of impressive anyway. So I'm kind of happy with both of them, really. Bionic Floodlight certainly seems to be an upgrade from the original. Now, they also say you're not supposed to use the Bionic Floodlight next to an existing light source. I got them right next to each other and they're both working, so maybe they're being a little cautious, because to me, it works. All right, here we go, 6:30 in the morning. Let's see if it's still working. Oh yeah, you can see that the Bionic Spotlight is dimmer, but they're both still working quite well after an entire night. I should probably talk for just a minute about the Bell & Howell name. Now, back in the day, Bell & Howell was known for things like movie cameras and projectors. But recently, it's just kind of licensing the name out for a lot of these ASEAN TV products that really only are Bell & Howell in name only. In fact, Wikipedia states, quote, since 2010, the Bell & Howell brand name has been extensively licensed for a diverse range of consumer electronics products. I also made a list of just the Bell & Howell ASEAN TV products I've tested since I started my channel. Those include the Bell & Howell Tack Light, the Bell & Howell Tack Visor, Bell & Howell Tack Light Lantern, Bell & Howell Tack Pen, Bell & Howell Tack Amplifier, Bell & Howell Tack Shaver, Bell & Howell Tack Zoom. I'm currently working on the Bell & Howell Vacuum Trim, Bell & Howell Disc Lights, Bell & Howell Light Bar, Bell & Howell Spin Power, Bell & Howell Monster Zapper, Bell & Howell Monster Trapper. You get the idea. So a lot of these products are just Bell & Howell names slapped on them, so I would not let the Bell & Howell name influence your decision, good or bad, as far as these products go. So I kind of wanted to try it one more time in my very dark backyard, so I took it around like almost like a flashlight. And the results, I would say, were acceptable, but not exceptional. Now, my yard is very dark, so let's see how the kind of coverage is when I hold it up. There's a strange creature here. It does have sufficient light, although I'm not sure if it's the brightest light I've ever seen. I've seen floodlights that are brighter than this, but for solar, I guess it's not too bad. It does light up the entire yard. So when it's on with the stake on the ground, it doesn't seem like it lights the yard up as well. When you mount it up high, it's much better. So I'm not as a fan of the stake mounting. So in the end, I think the Bionic Floodlight is a respectable outdoor solar light. It does seem to be kind of an upgrade over the Spotlight, which is a couple years old and still works, although it's getting kind of ragged. The Spotlight's been through 2 blistering heat summers here in Vegas and quite a few sub-freezing temperatures at night in the winters. It's also been through rain and wind, so it's held up pretty well, and I have no reason to believe that the Floodlight will do any worse. Now, my backyard is very dark, and I don't feel like it worked as well back there. It could also just be that my backyard's so open, there's not a lot of light reflecting in there, but it seemed like it was much better suited in the front of my house than the back. Also, keep in mind, you have to kind of be careful about the placement. It has to be south facing. You can't have it in the shade. So there are some limitations where you can put a light like this. Overall, though, I think that for $30, it's not really a bad deal. But if you've tried the Bionic Spotlight, tell me what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.